3, 2, we have ignition.
Hey, welcome to Connect. Today we're talking about the differences between people that launch business quickly and succeed and those people that, that launch and end up going back to the drawing board. And after 20 plus years doing this and working with 10,000 entrepreneurs, more than 10,000 entrepreneurs, and seeing what they do, literally, it's really pretty crystal clear. There are very real differences, different paths that the people that really do well take and the people that are going to have to go back to the drawing board take. And if you know these up front, some of the stuff you can glean and use for yourself. And it's not just us that see this. Other people do too, and you can read about it. Here's an article from Inc. magazine, The 5 Surprising Habits of the World's Wealthiest People. And number one is they swim against the tide, meaning they should probably say that differently. I don't think they swim against the tide. In fact, it's not that at all. They swim in different water. They don't swim against anything. They look for different things, and I'll show you how that works. But the Inc. magazine says, becoming super successful means you need to outperform everyone else at whatever you're doing, right? And it says, nope. It often means you shouldn't even be playing that game. Billionaires aren't any better than others. They're just doing something different than others. And that's exactly what I see. And it's interesting implications, isn't it? Because all of a sudden it means like billionaires, they aren't superheroes. Granted they've accomplished some cool things, but it's not because they're not superhuman, because they're superhuman. They're just doing different things. They're human people with a different model. And so these are some things that we can do too. We can tear some pages out of the books. Like, let's contrast what we see that's really clear that works and really clear that doesn't work. What we see most people do and almost never works is they target what everybody else targets. So you start a business, you go, let's say business to business, you're selling something to businesses. Well, what most people will do is they'll buy a list of what seems like the targets, or they'll go door to door. Imagine starting on Main Street. And with blinders on, you just run down Main Street. Well, that's where all of your competition is. So imagine, you start at the end of Main Street. You imagine really all the competition that's there, that have been there, that are going to come back of you. There's a lot of you, and then the gun sounds. You run down Main Street. All the businesses you can tag are yours. Well, you're not going to get enough, and that's what happens. That's really what happens. You just don't see all the people, and you don't see all the connections that are being made by all your competition when they buy the same list. And you throw yourself immediately into a horribly wicked, cutthroat, low profit, hard to do business, and no wonder it doesn't work well. Or you see a lot of other people just never start. They go, well, I've got to figure out the right advertising. I'm going to spend money on advertising. I'm going to tweak my website. The problem with that is it costs a lot up front, and you don't really know what's going to work. And so it's all very unsure. So it's very high cost in time and money. And if you pull out of Warren Buffett's 9 Rules for Running a Business, which you might want to take note of that. I mean, there's some good stuff. You should check it out. There's 2 out of them we'll pull out. Number 4 is keep costs low. And number 6 is stay out of trouble. And one of the subtitle of that is re-engineer your future. Now, what does that mean? Well, I think it means, how do you ultimately want to be doing this business? Do you want to be scrambling around on Main Street fighting with everybody else? Or do you see this working differently? Like you're actually making money and you're doing savvy business and it's cool and you've got freedom. If that's the case, then look into that future and see where that's going and pull it back, and this is where you start. So if that means going down Main Street, then go down Main Street. If it doesn't, then go down the other road. So what we see that people that have a lot more success than most, they do these kinds of things. They look into the future. And one of the things that they almost always do is they do go to warm market first. But before you go, well, I've done that, well, let's look at how they do it. They call them up with a little different mindset. They're going about it for a few different reasons. And one is they want some feedback. They go, look, here's what I'm doing. And some of these people, some of these warm market people will buy, but also what's happening is they're building a little recon. They're getting us some data so that they can use that later with the other people that they come in contact with. And some of this warm market, they will buy. And what they also know is those people in their warm market are connected to a lot of other people, a lot of other people, a lot of other people. What's that? 8 degrees of separation. And they know that 8 degrees of separation and everybody in the world's connected. So they know if they work those 8 degrees of separation, or if they work connections that they don't even know about, they know that there's some huge business. They don't even know what it is. Some joint ventures, some really big opportunities that can, or maybe manufacturing or distribution. And they're in there somewhere. They just need to uncover them. So so what's happened is they end up with a bunch of business. They end up with business. They have almost no cost of doing it. They have huge amounts of information. They have loads of connections, and they have choices. Now the choices are, well, I can continue that sort of business, or now I have the information to go to the cold market with the right information and advertising. So you look at that versus the obvious. What the obvious always does is go into a crowded situation and it's really hard. These people, the people that really fly, go about it a little bit differently. So if you're going to tear a page out of that, what are some of the things you can do? Well, one is, let's do 3 things, and feel free to write these down. A few things you might want to consider. Going where everybody else isn't. What can you do? Look, take a look at, kind of take a step back and go, where are all your competition? And think about how you can look just a little bit different in a positive way, so that those potential customers will lean in and want more. How can you get people to come to you? Who can you connect with that would send people to you? So now you're going about it a little bit differently from the crowd. So number 2, you want to keep costs low and profit high. So hold on to your money. Hold on to it with a tight fist when you start. Until you've got cash flow flowing, hold on to your money and be resourceful rather than spend it. And again, one of the biggest benefits of our market is it's a free connection, and it's free business, and it's all profit. And also the referrals cost you nothing. So be sure to make those connections and get everything you can. And number 3, look into the future. And hold on to your money. Do what Warren Buffett talks about. Hold on to your money, and also hold on to your time. Use that well for the right sort of leverage. Make money without having to spend it. And then when you've got cash flow going, fine, then go out and invest in advertising if that's what you want to do. Because then you have the right information, you have the cash flow to support the whole thing, and that works a whole lot better. Swim against the tide, as I said in the Inc. magazine, or just swim in different waters. How can you go about this where you can get people sending business to you? How can you look different from the competition in a positive way? How can you give a little different value? How can you have people go, oh, that's interesting? And ask people. Ask somebody who's been down that road before. How'd you do it? You find that people who have gotten pretty successful have this kind of feeling like, I want to give back, and they're very open to telling you whatever you want to hear. Join Connect. There's a whole community of people that are kicking butt and taking names and testing things and have loads of experience all day, every day, just like the road you're going to go down or thinking about going down. Ask them. They're very helpful. Ask us. We do those live jam times. You can ask us at any time. We're very open to helping. Read my book. I know it's Selfless Promotion Rewire, but in the first 40 pages, it'll help you understand a couple of the things that we really like to do in the same kind of regard. And just get the thing flowing. And of course, still, everybody's not going to say yes. When you go to people that you think they're going to say yes, and well, timing's not right, or no, or I've got a partner, or whatever, whatever the 1,001 ideas are or answers that you hear. So a lot of people are going to say no, just like all the time. But there's a system that we use to follow up on those so that you're there when they are ready. Because if it's timing, no is not necessarily no. No is often like, it's just not now. So how do you make sure you follow up in the right time frame and you're there when they're ready to say yes? And we'll show you that in the next video. Thanks. See you there.